she was a magnificent human. She did all the Hungarian cooking and baking, and she made lung stew and pacha and gefilte fish with the fish in the tub, and she was just mad cookies, and you know, she was constantly, and because she cooked for that grandfather, we grew up in Romanian food culture. Many years later, my husband and I, my husband was he's passed too, but he was a chemist, a professor of chemistry, and he would take sabbatical in France. And one year we were in France on sabbatical, and we decided we would travel through Eastern Europe to see if we could find out where all of our parents had come from. And we stopped in Romania in Timișoara, which is near Isei. And we went into a workers' cafeteria, and there, Christianized, taken out of its Orthodox kosher format, was all the food my grandmother made. It was on the line, the pickles and the sour milk and the pacha and the this and the that. And it was so familiar to me. And I looked at my husband, Ted, and I said to him, Ted, this is like really weird. Do you realize that all that food that we were raised with, that we thought was Jewish, is actually shtetl food that got converted from this culture into their culture? It was made kosher. You know, and we kind of laughed about it because, you know, okay, this was made of pork, but no, when you had it, when your grandmother made it, it was made of beef, you know. But it was the same food. It was all this pickled stuff and schav and, you know, and I just remember thinking to myself, boy, my grandmother must have mastered Romanian culture for my grandfather. And I like this food, it's so familiar to me because my grandmother made it. So that's sort of that transitional, you know, as you become assimilated into the United States, even though you hold on to that culture that you have, your grandparents pass it down to you, your parents pass it down to you. Of course, it gets converted and transferred and transmitted. You don't think of that happening in Europe, but it happens because we're human. Humans all do the same thing, you know. And it was such a high-profile thing. I remember thinking about it so much that there was pastrami, you know, and I was thinking, oh, pastrami, we used to eat that every week, you know. But that's Jewish.